Hey everybody, it's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel. This is TikTok compilation number 7. Let's talk about the blatant hypocrisy here. This is Bree. She also goes by Says Bree or Bree with duh facts. She is the most loyal gatekeeper and friend of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose Blanchard gives her a legally private correspondence from her legal husband, Ryan Anderson. Gives it to Bree, and then Bree goes and tells the entire planet. You look so good as a brunette. Miss your voice. You know I do. You still have my heart. I still only have eyes for you. Gypsy Rose, you really are the most beautiful woman in the world. Just being honest. Maybe he's shooting his shot because somebody recently said that Ken broke up with her at the exact day and time of her baby shower. But let's talk about this. What is spousal privilege? Marital privilege, also known as spousal privilege, is recognized by the law of evidence and the Supreme Court to protect private spousal communications and prevent any testimony against a spouse from being used in judicial proceedings. Spousal privilege applies in both civil and criminal cases. It covers communications made during the marriage, communications that are prompted by affection, confidence, and loyalty engendered by the marital relationship, communications that occur during the marriage even after the marriage ends. And you wonder why people don't trust her and know that she's not trustworthy. She uses him, she lies to him, she lies to parole so she can be paroled to live with him, takes money from him, goes and lives with him, immediately, not even 50 days later, is already confiding in somebody she shouldn't be even speaking to, an ex that dumped her. She then has an emotional affair, a physical and sexual affair. She suddenly and abruptly abandons and neglects her husband. She immediately gets back with said ex, manipulates and tricks him into thinking she's on birth control when she's not, gets pregnant, and she suddenly files for divorce from Ryan. And you don't think that is trauma? You don't think that the guy has a heart and a soul? You don't think that he's going to have a hard time coping with that kind of level of abuse that was just thrown on him? Oh, not to forget, she disposed of him and discarded him. And people are not disposable. Oh, but to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, they are. Dee Dee Blanchard, Nicholas Godejohn. Do those names ring a bell? Gypsy Rose Blanchard. This is her latest post on TikTok. What is cyberbullying? According to law and legal definitions, cyberbullying refers to any harassment that occurs via the internet, cell phone, or other devices. Cyberbullying comes in many variations: posting rumors, spreading gossip, defaming people, humiliating people. These types of cyberbullying usually result in other people changing their opinions about individuals based on rumors spread. First of all, defamation is not just lies. It's lies with malicious and ill intent, with the sole purpose of ruining your reputation. You are a convicted murderer. You don't have a motherfucking reputation, and you never will. But this, everyone knew my past when I was released, and y'all were shouting, "Queen!" Bitch, no, I never did. You go back and look. And now, almost a year later, I am bullied and harassed nonstop. Accountability begins when you decide. No, it begins when you went to the parole board and you lied to them and you told them that you were going to take accountability, and all that bullshit you said to them, all the words you thought they wanted to hear, and then you got out and you did nothing but self-promotion and all these self-projects selling this victim narrative without telling the truth. One person is locked up for life and the other person is deceased. The abuse narrative doesn't fly when you bring in a third party and you attempted to take somebody's life twice before. Also, those victims are not speaking for themselves. So, of course, I commented, and she's trying to quickly find them and delete them because we're watching it in real time. I have somebody live recording it. You're convicted unaliver, Gypsy. That all you'll ever be is that. That is not a crime that you can ever recover from or take back. When you take somebody's life, you cannot bring them back. Unfortunately, everyone gave you the chance and ability to prove yourself and take accountability, but we see nothing but self-promotion and lies again and again and again. Yes, you see this. We can all see this, Gypsy. It's not bullying if it's the truth. If you go back and you look on my channel and you go and look at my content, largely it is Gypsy Rose versus Gypsy Rose. I allow people to conclude their own opinions, their own thoughts, and their own feelings based on the lies that I've caught you in. And there's many of them. It never stops. It never stops that it has become a full-time job for many people to do nothing but expose the BS and the lies. But coming from somebody who has the moral compass and the values of a toad and would take somebody else's life, you really think that people are going to believe what you have to say? You'd have to be as dumb as a box of motherfucking rocks to take the word of a convicted murderer. I know people that are like me that are tattooed from the throat down and are alcoholics or recovering addicts who have never taken somebody's life and have never done shit like that. So you can dress it up whichever way you want, but we see you. We know who you really are, because all them word salads you do don't disguise one thing. It doesn't disguise your actions. And for the last year, your actions speak louder than words. And you want to talk about fucking bullying? How about the last 4 months of my life? Since I did my Adaptive Kate videos. You want to talk about bullying, Gypsy? How about this? How about this? How about when social justice brat and fucking Bree doxed me? Yeah, how about that? How about that? Oh yeah, and there's police reports on all this shit. The same motherfucking bitch that's over here fucking with Fancy. Yeah. This person, right here. Right here. Me? Hello? Look at me. Look at me. This. Trying to say some shit to me. Really? Really? How about this? The fake accounts. The fake accounts. Or how about all the times I've had to contact my police department and file a fucking police report based on Bree and social justice brat. Oh yeah, with my device. I turned my device over. Yep. Police report. Yep. Police report. Police report. How about all the fucking calls to my phone or my child's phone? How about the calls to my child's motherfucking school? How about, even though I'm with the Federal Trade Commission's do not call list for 14 years, same fucking number, y'all still fucking harassing me, right? How about this? My social security number, my name, and my parents' old address on the fucking dark web. How about that shit, Gypsy? How's that, huh? August 20th, 2024. Release my fucking information on the goddamn dark web. Talk about fucking bullying. Talk about fucking bullying. Had to freeze my goddamn credit. Oh, not only that, but how about this? How about the fucking karma may be close email threats trying to shut me up? Not only that, but they got all this information wrong. You want to give a shit? I don't give a shit. I ain't scared of no fucking buddy. Nobody. Not only this, but look at comments after comment after comment after comment after comment. Oh, what about this? All of this. All of this. Documented. All of it. And this ain't even just shit pertaining to fucking Kate. Look at all this bullshit. All of this. All of this recorded. All these fake accounts. Not to mention when Ken Urker, because when you're fucking contacting my phone, TikTok tells you when somebody with that same number, that same email address, or that same contact makes a fake page. Ken Urker was stupid enough to make a fake page and follow me, Nina, Becca Scoops, Sir Morbid, Conspiracy, and only one random person. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and all of this. Not to mention all of my sources, all of them, all of these people, all these fucking threats. I've had sources get found out and threatened. based on the shit. And I'm not even talking about just the stuff regarding Kate, okay? I'm not even talking about that. But Gypsy, why don't you talk about Jeanette Braun, the attorney, huh? Why don't you tell all them motherfucking people about Jeanette Braun, the social media attorney who's a dirty bitch who does nothing but take down people's platforms. Oh, why don't you tell people how you're friends with Bunny XO, and that's how you know of that attorney, and how she's married to Jelly Roll, and how you're affiliated with them, and talk about bullying and cyberbullying and cyber harassment. Yet, people affiliated with you and fucking Bree are over here doxing them. I'm a fucking cancer survivor. Cancer didn't take me out, bitch. You think you're gonna be the motherfucker to take me out? Think again. Right here. Seriously. All of this, police reports, threats, emails, calls to my phone, calls to my child's fucking school, doxing me on my YouTube channel, all of this. And you want to talk about cyberbullying. You are who you hang out with. I don't give a shit how much Bree went to bat for you. That whole fake facade of I'm loyal to her, so of course I'm going to be friends with her. That's not loyalty. That ain't no different than somebody who's anti-Gypsy exposing the truth of your own words and your own lies and your own bullshit to the world. Okay? So you want to talk about accountability? Accountability starts with when you actually admit what you fucking did. By Missouri law, anybody over the age of 18 who knowingly causes the death of another human, doesn't matter if you solicit somebody to do it for you, doesn't matter if you hire somebody to do it for you, it doesn't matter if you're an accessory to murder or if you're an accomplice to murder before or after the fact, that's totally separate than the crime itself. Talk about this. How about Jeanette M. Braun? Right here, Jeanette, the attorney who works for multiple creators, including Bunny XO, the wife of Jelly Roll. I highly suggest people look into her because Gypsy is affiliated with and has contact with and is friends with Bunny XO. This lady who has known to literally ruin the entire life and career and platforms of multiple very large creators. Yeah, her. So why are you affiliated with somebody like this, Gypsy? You trying to help somebody else to take me out, take other people out, before we even have a chance to create a platform?
The girl that murders her mother.
You know who didn't kill their mom? Hello, welcome to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I am Barbara Ann. If you do not know who this is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She was arrested on June 15th of 2015 for the premeditated first-degree murder of her mother. A lot of people don't know that in the spring of 2011, she tried to unalive her mom. She tried a second time, again on June 14th of 2011, and then she spent almost 3 years manipulating her internet boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, into helping her finally get the job done. You know what they say, third time's a charm. Both Gypsy and Nick were arrested at Nick's mother and stepfather's house on June 15th of 2015. Another fact a lot of people don't know is not even 7 months after she was arrested, they already began filming for the first of many docuseries, documentaries, shows, or books that Gypsy Rose would take part in, and that began with HBO's Mommy Dead and Dearest. And this was set to premiere on March 11th of 2017. However, it did air later at May 15, 2017. November 22nd of 2017, Dr. Phil did an exclusive interview with Gypsy Rose Blanchard while she was serving her time. I'm sure everybody remembers this interview because this is where Gypsy is quoted saying that her mother taught her to be a liar, a great liar, one without any conscience. November 6th of 2018, Lightbox filmed this documentary called Gypsy's Revenge. March 20th of 2019, Hulu did a dramatization series based on Gypsy Rose Blanchard's life and crime called The Act, of which Patricia Arquette and Joey King played, both the mother and daughter duo. on January 21st of 2021, Killer Cases did this episode called Killing Mama about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. December 28th of 2023, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was granted parole and she was released. A week later, on January 5th, 2024, Lifetime, who had filmed this for a year and a half prior to the air date, aired this. The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. On January 5th of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her husband, Ryan Anderson, were not only allowed to leave the state, they were allowed to go to a whole different state and city, and this is where she appeared on the ABC show called The View. January 5th of 2024, Gypsy goes and changes her clothes, and she also does an interview for Entertainment Tonight, but this time she has her husband, Ryan Anderson, on camera with her. This very clearly is a strategic PR tour. January 8th of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her husband Ryan go on the Vile Files. January 9th of 2024, Ben Bella Books releases this. Released. Conversations on the Eve of Freedom by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. However, the two ghostwriters that really wrote this book are Melissa Moore and her literary agent. In March of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard publicly announces that she left her husband, Ryan Anderson, and she was filing for divorce. May 3rd of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is on The View again. However, she's interviewed from a red carpet appearance because she was not in studio. January 26th of 2024, ABC's show 2020 did an episode about Gypsy Rose Blanchard entitled The Next Act. However, they updated this and they reran it 2 more times, again in May and in August of 2024. June 3rd of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard gets her reality show post-release with Lifetime called Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. June 5th of 2024, Chris Jericho actually releases an interview that he had done with Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her husband, Ryan Anderson. Now, if you pay close attention, you can see that this must have been filmed months before she and Ryan actually separated. Because that same day, on June 5th, 2024, Ryan Anderson goes on Extra TV where he does this interview and he's talking about exactly that. October 16th of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard reaches out to the Vile Files where she goes on and does another interview with them, but this time she doesn't have her husband, Ryan Anderson. She has her ex-fiance, Ken Urker, with her, where she's already very pregnant with his child. They go on to discuss everything that has transpired since Gypsy has been released and future plans. December 10th, 2024, this is going to be released by Ben Bella Books, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, My Time to Stand, a memoir. Now, Melissa Moore and her literary agent are actually the two ghost writers on this, as well as her other book. The only difference here is that there's going to be several versions of this, including you can get a hardback copy, or you can get an audiobook copy where Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself narrates her book. Another fact a lot of people don't know is for almost 7 months now, Lifetime cameras and producers have already been filming and documenting Gypsy Rose's life. And this next season, if it airs, is probably going to be about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, love after lockup, or finding love after lockup, as well as the birth of her and Ken Urker's daughter. This, I got to give credit to Dysfunctional Cutie because she's the one that uses AI to generate what her and Ken's baby might look like without all of the controversy. Now, there have also been thousands of episodes that have been done about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her crime. And those have been covered by A&E, Crime Weekly, Law and Crime Network, as well as many content creators around the globe. Now, if you're wondering where you can stream any of those, Now, this was sent to me, and this has not been confirmed. However, it has a check mark. Supposedly, she has an OnlyFans account, as well as a Facebook, an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube. On November 2nd, 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard posted this on Facebook. Many people may have seen or read this already. Their voices clash with the agenda. The mask is on. Smile. And this is where I say that she needs to say no. But she has done nothing but monetize and capitalize her crime since day one. This was very strategic work of Melissa Moore, and if you do not know who she is the daughter of the infamous serial killer dubbed the Smiley Face Killer. Gypsy's defense attorney / now manager, Mike Stansfield. Her father, Rod Blanchard, and her stepmother, Christy Blanchard. As you can see from the very beginning, they are proud to be standing in front of any of these shows and documentaries and appearing and doing just that, taking pictures, promoting these shows, docuseries, books, reality shows, all of it. But the biggest way for Gypsy Rose Blanchard to promote, market, advertise her own shows, docuseries, reality show, and books is by going to social media, which is precisely what landed her in trouble to begin with. In the commission of her crime, she used Facebook, ChristianDatingForFree.com, and the internet. A couple months after her release, Gypsy Rose Blanchard became friends with this person who goes by the name Says Bree, or Bree with the Facts. She's been a staunch defender of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but she has also given her really horrible advice, like accidentally not ending her live and telling her on a phone call how to lie to her parole officer, essentially coaching her. Proving to the entire world and social media alike that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is not changed. She's just getting better at hiding and lying. So while it's really hard to feel sorry for her because of her own actions, choices, words, and behaviors, she was almost 24 years old when she committed her crime, and she is a full-grown woman now who makes these active choices to go along and sign these contracts and do these deals, do these books, do these documentaries, these docuseries, and she has been for the entirety of her prison stay and now her release. Gypsy is due in January, and she has been a heavy smoker the entire pregnancy. That's right, everybody. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her baby daddy, Ken Urker, are in Florida visiting his family for the Thanksgiving holidays. Let's really open up a discussion here. Why is Gypsy Rose Blanchard allowed to get away with going out of state and traveling and doing all of these things that normal people on parole would not be allowed to do while she's on parole? Why is it that you think the rules don't apply to her? Do you think she's being granted this because she's working, which means that Lifetime is filming with her and they are there filming the Thanksgiving holidays with his family? Or do you simply think they just don't care and they believe her when she tells her PO that this is all just a whole bunch of drama and speculation on social media and that it doesn't actually translate into real life? When we all know, I know, that's not true. Now, she is a convicted murderer, and murder is a debt to society. I want to know from you, society, what you think about her debt. And if you want, drop your comments below, because I really want to know, is this fair that she's allowed to, as a parolee, go out of state and visit family of which belongs to him and is not belonging to her legal husband, who she is not even divorced from yet? Why do you think everybody in Gypsy Rose's life, realm, and sphere do not hold her accountable or responsible for anything, including her parole officer? If you want, drop them. And if I don't get a chance tomorrow, I want to tell you all that I love you. I appreciate you. I am so thankful and grateful that you're here, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Okay, we have had a lot of misinformation, a lot of lies, a lot of intentional, malicious, devious things being said about people here on TikTok, creators that are also here on TikTok and YouTube. I have had somebody intentionally come to my page and try to bomb my comments section with I flipped about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and that I'm a supporter of hers. I have never been a supporter of somebody who unalived another human being. That goes against every value and moral that I hold as a human being and to my faith. And I can show you that right here on 11/27/2023, a whole entire month and a day before Gypsy Rose was even released from prison. I made my first video and it was banned and taken down because of the R word. I had to then change it because it flagged and removed it on this date. However, I made this video showing you, I don't even talk, I just show you where she claims that on the stand, Nicholas Godejohn never R-worded her at all. And then I show you another clip from another interview where 7 years later, she's trying to change the narrative on that. I was literally told that I am the first person that they have seen bringing up how she's not so innocent. I'm sure her mom was horrible, but she's not all there either. On that original video, my God, girl, this is the best video on the case. Thanks for exposing what should be exposed. There was a second video that I did, not even 4 days after she was released. Right there, you see where the Nicholas Godejohn, where she clearly says in an interrogation and interview before Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard came out on January 5th of 2024. She says in one interview how Nicholas Godejohn is to blame, how she absolutely hates him, but she also was adamant that Nicholas Godejohn was the first person she ever told about her mom doing anything to her, and that he was the first person she ever told that she can walk. In that same video, I show you a little piece of a trailer because Prison Confessions doesn't air yet. And I also show you another interview that she does where she says she absolutely hates and despises him. And I also show you a little clip from that trailer where she says about Dan was the first person I ever told that I could walk. So which one is it? Was she telling the truth on the stand when she testified in Nicholas Godejohn's trial that he was the first person she told? Or was it really Dan? But I want to talk about this because nobody ever mentions her, Aaliyah Woodmansey. This is the neighbor to Dee Dee and Gypsy. This is the daughter of the neighbor, but she was also a friend of Gypsy's. She has actually been interviewed and has taken part in a docuseries or documentary or interviews several different times over the years. This is where she verbatim says, it's sad and unfortunate, but it looks like there finally is a happy ending, at least for her. So if you recognize this face, you would automatically know who she is. That is Aaliyah Woodmansey.
I couldn't trust Aaliyah because my mother was starting to put things in my head that Aaliyah wasn't my true friend and that she was a bad influence on me, so I couldn't be friends with her anymore.
Aaliyah Woodmansey.
Even that friend that you're talking about is wondering why. Aaliyah's worried about you.
Aaliyah? Are you kidding me?
Look at me. Look at me.
Aaliyah's always been a bully to me.
Okay, but look at me.
That is another video that I do in July of 2023 because this is something that a lot of people have overlooked with Aaliyah Woodmansey. Gypsy Rose not only breaks complete character in her interrogation and tells interrogators that Aaliyah has always been a bully to me, but then she says to the world in a public documentary that it was her mom that was poisoning her against Aaliyah. However, Aaliyah has been very open in interviews that it was Dee Dee who told her she couldn't talk to Gypsy anymore, and that she had cut off communication a couple years before she was unalived. Meaning she cut off communication between Aaliyah and Gypsy. But she wasn't poisoning Gypsy's mind against Aaliyah. She went directly to Aaliyah and told her, you better stop contacting my daughter. This has always been very strategic from the very beginning that Gypsy Rose Blanchard had been arrested to save her skin and save her reputation. And I'm going to show you.
That pencil, and you're writing along with your story. Well, sometimes some people make mistakes when they write stuff down, don't they? You ever made a mistake in your life?
Yeah.
And I've made mistakes in my life. And hang on just a second, okay? When you're writing this stuff down, all of a sudden you make a mistake. Well, what do you do with that mistake? You take that pencil and you flip it over and you start erasing stuff, okay? And you erase it and you recorrect it. And you take that pencil and then you rewrite your story, okay? And I kind of think that's where you're at with this tonight, okay? That you have a chance to rewrite your story. And I think that that's what you can do, is you can rewrite your story tonight.
I want to show you how so many people completely overlooked Gypsy's lies about Aaliyah then and even now. She even blames Aaliyah for the reason that she knew about the ChristianDatingForFree.com website, when that's actually not true. Aaliyah Woodmansey had actually told Gypsy that she should play it safe. There are terrible people out there in the world, meaning the internet. And a lot of time these guys are not who you think they are. So Gypsy Rose lied when she was telling everybody else that Aaliyah's the reason why she knew about these dating websites, when it was actually Gypsy telling Aaliyah that she's on these dating sites and Aaliyah warning Gypsy not to do that because stranger danger. But then Aaliyah goes on to say she didn't think it was a big deal because he was in a totally different state, and she thought that Dee Dee had enough control over the situation, meaning that Gypsy needed to be controlled because she was doing inappropriate things online with men. But then she goes on to tell Aaliyah how she's going to be introducing him to her mom in March. My mom still doesn't want me dating, but I hope all will go well in March, and she will approve of him. To summarize, for those of you who are not really catching on yet, Gypsy has always used Aaliyah to excuse why she was on these dating websites to begin with. So she was using Aaliyah as the negative influence for why she was doing these negative bad behaviors in secret. And then when she got caught, she was always blaming it on her friend. Very loyal friend who was genuinely shocked inside of the courtroom the first time she saw Gypsy Rose Blanchard walk, because she had never seen her walk. But she opened up to her about anything and everything else except the truth. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard has done this to her friends of 9+ years. What do you think she's going to do to her friends of the last 10 months or the last 5 months? And it's completely crazy to me that I'm getting bombarded with these crazy comments from people saying that I'm a gypsy flipper. No. Said if she can come out and can change her life and can actually show that she's reformed and rehabilitated instead of just trying to make you convinced of it, then I can see her being deserving of the parole that she got, of her advocating for Nicholas Godejohn, her other victim. Then maybe she is deserving. Maybe she is remorseful, but we have not seen that. We have seen nothing but more lies and selfish behavior and self-promotion of TV shows, books, engagements, speeches, all of it. But me? No. I have been doing this for over a year before anybody else, and I got so much shit for it. But at least people know that have been here the entire time. They see the truth. They know the truth. There's a difference between exposing the truth and absolutely hating somebody in real life, driving by their house, doxing them, calling their work, calling their PO, and doing all these other things. But I can tell you what, I know for a fact that her and her friends have done it to me, and they've done it on behalf of somebody else to get my content taken down, and called the cops, and called my child's school, and released my private information on the dark web.
I
I just don't understand prison love. I don't understand it. You know, you have like,
you know where they are all the time.
there's a lot of I'm like, I have successful, beautiful girlfriends that can't get a date, and here she is, having been pled guilty to murdering her mother. Well, she pled guilty to second-degree murder, though, and so she's she's killed her mom, and you know, I don't know how you then start writing letters to her and then sleep next to her as a husband without like one eye open because she killed a loved one. I just don't understand the whole fascination.
Heart breaks for her. If you watch that documentary, the severe abuse from her infanthood to the day she's at, the trauma she will carry every single day of her life. I think she's going to make decisions, good and bad, in other ways, like all of us. And I give her so many passes for
murdered her mom.
But owning,
She did do the time, but
she did. But my point here is, I wonder if it's the same
bad.
situation where you have been tortured from birth, what you're capable of to survive.
well, many
But
people
murder's
are
bad.
abusing. They don't kill their parents.
Well,
She literally like poisoned people. She had surgery. She wasn't. She abused that woman to
She
levels.
was crazy. The mother was nuts.
I hope she was a
doing the work,
psychotic
though, and
woman.
getting therapy.
Listen, don't look at me. I learned my lesson. I'm scarred by the Kate Middleton thing. I would about other people's lives. I hope she thrives.
It's hard for me is watching, the negative comments towards him. I can handle negative comments towards me because I don't care. But when it's about somebody that I love, I want to clap back. And that was my, clap back a little bit. I'm going to come to his defense. He's my man. To a wife.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard was actually born with strabismus, which is a misalignment of the eyes. And she had it so severely that if it didn't get corrected with several surgeries over the course of her childhood, she would have went blind and had permanent muscle damage from it. Now, I don't expect the women of The View to actually do anything other than read what's in front of them, but this is why it's so important to do your homework and to verify and corroborate. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was actually born with microcephaly. Microcephaly is where you are born with your head anywhere from 10 to 15% smaller than what it should be. Even though this is extremely rare, it must be noted that over 65% of all people born with microcephaly also end up having a cognitive impairment later in life. And if you don't believe what I am telling you and what I am showing you, that's fine. You can feel free to do your own research on exactly that. Microcephaly can cause other issues besides just your intelligence level and your cognitive capacity. There's a whole other range of issues that you can experience from that. Seizures, cerebral palsy, vision problems, hearing difficulties, as well as substantial cognitive impairment. As a baby, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was also diagnosed with sleep apnea. Now, her own grandfather and other family members have said in a documentary that this was actually true because her mother, Dee Dee, had to take her to a doctor where they got her on a machine. And when she would stop breathing at night, that machine's alarm would go off. And they also talked about how Dee Dee became very paranoid about Gypsy when she was sleeping because it's scary to learn when your newborn infant is not breathing. But a lot of people, including the women of The View, did not look into the fact that she has a rare chromosome disorder, which is the microdeletion of chromosome 1q21.1. And this right here is a 12-page rarechromo.org that you can read about all of that specific microdeletion of that specific chromosome. And yes, this looks like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but it's not. This is the poster child for that microdeletion. And page after 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 page, where you can feel free to look it up and read it yourself. It also has rare chromosome disorder support group information, as well as other family links, information, and support, even as far as genetic counseling that a family can take. I myself have always wondered if her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, was correct in some way when she told people that Gypsy wasn't mentally like the age she really was, and that people like her friend Aaliyah Woodmansey treated her like she was younger because mentally she is younger. I myself have always wondered how much of that was truth and how much of it was an exaggeration. And a lot of people don't know to what extent Gypsy may or may not have really been cognitively impaired.
And one fact that I do know is that being on the spectrum is not an excuse for murder. Nick had an IQ of 84, which, by the way, is not low. In order to be considered intellectually challenged, you actually have to have an IQ under 70.
Now, what Bree is saying is actually true. The average IQ is actually between 82 and 90, and that is the average worldwide, globally, in 195 nations across the planet that holds 8 billion people. But anything 69 and below is considered cognitively impaired, such as mental disability. But I have to disagree, because being on the autism spectrum is not an excuse for unaliving somebody. Neither is ABUSE. We don't know, and we may never know, to what extent these real medical issues have actually done to Gypsy. But it has largely been speculated that her and Dee Dee worked together to grift, to con, to scam the public. And they did so strategically that they were able to get really amazing weeks-long vacations paid for by Make-A-Wish, by the Leukemia Cancer Society, by Habitat for Humanity. But a lot of people overlook the most simple and the most basic and the most logical of all. It's called Occam's razor. The most logical and the most plausible explanation is usually the correct one. So when we really look at this, there could be several different things simultaneously being true, and that is why people are so fascinated by this crime and by her life and by the fact that she's still grifting and using mainstream media and networks and organizations to make money the same way her and her mother did before the crime. Now, yes, that may be because that's what her mother always taught her. So immediately after her arrest, signing with HBO, doing Dr. Phil, doing The Killer Cases, doing Lifetime, doing Ben Bella books, that's no different than what they did signing up and playing pretend a disability for Gypsy when they were going to Make-A-Wish, when they were going to the local news agencies, when they were going to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, when they were going to Habitat for Humanity, when they were going to their local DHS office, or when they were going to Social Security. I don't know what other people think about this, but it was very obvious looking at their house in Missouri that they had gotten from Habitat for Humanity that 2 of Gypsy's wheelchairs were in a room completely covered in hoard, in such a debris mess that there was no possible way she could have got around. The fact that there was black garbage bags tied up on the windows, Gypsy Rose herself says her mom did that so people couldn't see in. And the fact that she had a third wheelchair that she largely used for outings in the bathroom across from where her bedroom was tells us that they wanted Gypsy to hurry up and get in that wheelchair and pretend to be disabled if anybody came to the door knocking. And we know from the video she sent to Nicholas Godejohn that she was walking around, not only inside the house, but outside the house as well. At one point, Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother are pretending to be sick so they can get a disability check. They were scamming SSI and SSDI from Social Security. Hello, welcome to my channel, Straight Out of Context, and I am Barbara Ann. If you have not heard or even learned of who this person is, this is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was arrested on June 15th of 2015 for her planning and premeditation and unaliving of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. Not even 5 months after her arrest, she had already started filming for HBO's documentary about her and her crime, Mommy Dead and Dearest. Now, this was set to originally air on March 11th, 2017. However, it actually aired on May 15th, 2017. On November 22nd of 2017, Dr. Phil recorded a very in-depth interview while Gypsy Rose was in prison with Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself. This is that infamous interview. This is where she is infamously quoted saying that her mother taught her to be a very good liar, one without a conscience. November 6th of 2018, Lightbox did this documentary called Gypsy's Revenge. March 20th of 2019, Hulu began their series, their dramatized series about Gypsy's life called The Act. January 21st of 2021, A&E premiered this episode about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her crime called Killing Mama. Now, this is for a series of a show called Killer Cases. December 28th of 2023, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is released from prison and granted parole. January 5th of 2024, just a little over a week after she had been released from prison, Lifetime aired this, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, this was 6 episodes, and they were 1 hour long each episodes. The same day that Lifetime aired The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, on January 5th, 2024, Gypsy Rose is allowed to travel to New York City, where she then does this, The View with ABC. That same day, January 5th of 2024, she changes her outfit, and her husband, Ryan Anderson, also do this interview on Entertainment Tonight. January 8th of 2024, this airs. Her and her husband, Ryan Anderson, go on The Vile Files with Nick Vile. 1 week after she was released, she and her husband already went to a whole different state, a whole different city, did a whole entire PR tour, and this was all very strategically done in order to maximize her infamy. And I'm sure get her paid a lot of money. The next day, on January 9th of 2024, Ben Bella Books releases this, called Released, Conversations on the Eve of Freedom by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. However, it was not written by only her. This was actually ghostwritten by Melissa Moore and Michelle Matriciani. Michelle Matriciani is also Gypsy Rose Blanchard's literary agent. On January 26th of 2024, ABC's 2020 aired this episode about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her crime, entitled The Next Act. This episode had been updated and ran again 7 months later. June 3rd of 2024, Lifetime premiered Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup. Now, this is a reality show. The reality show we all know we did not need and we did not watch. June 5th of 2024, Chris Jericho does an exclusive interview with Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan Anderson. However, this is when it actually went up after it had been filmed and edited. May 3rd of 2024, The View also did this. It was not an episode, but they did speak about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her separation from her husband. June 5th of 2024, her husband Ryan Anderson does an exclusive interview with Extra TV. October 16th of 2024, Ken Urker and Gypsy Rose Blanchard do a second interview on The Vile Files. Now, this book, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, called My Time to Stand, a memoir, is supposed to be put out on December 10th of 2024. There is several different versions of this, including an audiobook version which she narrates herself. And for the past 6+ months, Ken Urker and Gypsy Rose Blanchard have already been filming for Lifetime for a second season of their reality show with Lifetime.
Hey everybody, good morning. So I'm so excited that my new book, My Time to Stand, is coming out very, very soon. It comes out December 10th. And you can get your copy, whether it be the original copy, an audio version, or a signed copy in the links below.
Wait a minute, we've all been here before. We have seen Gypsy Rose talk about going private or deleting altogether or getting off of social media, and she doesn't give an F about a following. This has been a perpetual negative cycle that we've seen 4 different times since her release, the majority of 2024. So this is about every quarter we're expecting this kind of announcement from her. Is this the quarterly statement? Because I know everybody remembers this, and this, and this. Quite frankly, I'm right there with everybody else. We've seen this happen one too many times. And now it's all about how content creators are to blame. Not her friends by proxy, not the looking people up on Google and Google Maps, and doing all of these in real life things to harm creators, shut them up and shut them down. But the fact that she wants to call social media her revenue and her job, that's really hypocritical that she's trying to take that away from other content creators who this very well may be their only and sole source of income to provide for their children as a single mother. And trust me, I know I have children. Unless this book is going to be 100% her being honest and truthful, finally, for the first time, I don't want nothing to do with it. And if I was to actually buy a copy and read it would be to honestly review it. Because I want to see nothing but accountability and responsibility. But she's not going to be the example of victim turned victor, because you have to first be a true victim to then persevere and have that kind of strength. But throughout this, it has been nothing but narcissistic, sociopathic, histrionic, psychopathic manipulation and harm of other people. Because Gypsy Rose believes that she is the center and the sun of everybody's universe that shines on them. She doesn't give that same luxury and privilege and respect and consideration to other people who are also survivors, who are also victims, who have also suffered immeasurable amounts of or neglect or SA in their life. So with that being said, other survivors and victims are not going to be fooled by Gypsy Rose Blanchard until we actually see some real accountability. And we have seen everything but her projecting, negating, and deflecting away from real accountability. But this is the biggest part of all. I have never backed NPGCN. What I said was it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. Everybody keeps focusing on who is his social media page spokespeople. All you need to know is that does not matter what this person, unless you're a psychiatrist and you're his doctor, you should not be talking about him or his ability to be able to say for himself within his civil and constitutional rights and with his rights to due process to say that he has appointed or picked this person or this group of people to run his social media pages, and those are his official spokespeople. He said it for the first time on January 13th of 2024, and people refused to listen. He said it again to Toddy Oneskip. He's even said it to me. Same way I warned everybody to stay away from the rally. Nobody ever thought to first and foremost go to him and actually ask him if it was okay to use his name in his case for anything. No. So you may not like NPGCN. That's fine. I don't necessarily like it either. But my support and respect for this person's rights trump over my own thoughts. And opinions and feelings on the matter. But the fact is, this person has autism. This person was on disability for said autism. This person was manipulated for 3 years. And he doesn't get to utilize the same supports and resources that Gypsy does. His mother is also not here anymore. And he doesn't have people speaking on him. And if they do, it's because they want you to think they're altruistic and they want you to think they're in support of him. But they're not. They truly are not. Otherwise, you would know his only hope right now is clemency letters. And I have made over 5 different videos showing you exactly what to do, how to do it, directing you to the NPGCN video, which has the address that you need to send those letters in, and pointers for how to address it. It is critical that if anybody's going to buy this book of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, that we remind her publisher and her literary agent and Melissa Moore and Lifetime, because if you want to run with the narrative that she was an, then you should be looking at it as this man is the victor who saved her. But you're not. Which leads me to believe you know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is nothing more than the crime she committed and always will be. Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I am Barbara Ann, and I just want to go over this with you really quick if you have not seen this in the last 2 days. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is going to be at the La Librairie du Quartier du Jardin. And if you don't know what that means, it means the Garden District Bookshop in NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana. My biggest question goes to the person who scheduled and planned this entire appearance for her new book that's set to be released December 10th, 2024, titled My Time to Stand, a memoir. If you go to any of the websites where you can purchase tickets, it has a summary of what this is all about. This is about Gypsy Rose Blanchard appearing for an author meet and greet for her memoir, My Time to Stand. And it gives you a summary here of exactly what her book is about, exactly what her past in crime was, and about her embarking on her ongoing journey. Guests are encouraged to knock out some holiday shopping while they wait around the rink, which is a part of the building. But here you can see early bird general admission and book tickets are $35. General admission plus book is $40 if you do not get it early. This is the exact location of where that meet and greet will take place on December 13th, Friday the 13th, 2024. And for those of you who do not know, Taylor Swift has always considered 13 to be her lucky number. And these are all of the reasons why she has always used 13 as an Easter egg in her songs, in her albums. She's even painted it on her hand while doing tours, or had the number 13 embroidered on her clothing. And we all know how much devils like to roll their dice. But this devil here is giving you a photo opportunity for your hard-earned money on December 13th, 2024 at the Garden District Bookshop. And if you don't pay early, you have the luxury and the privilege of paying her $5 more. But did you know that Friday the 13th is something we experience at least once a year, sometimes even multiple times in a year? There are positive and negative interpretations and connotations superstitiously related and linked to Friday the 13th. One of the most common is the link to ancestors and spirits. People like to use Friday the 13th to conjure or to connect with their deceased ancestors and their spirits, believing that that day is very special because the veil between us and the spirit world is thinner, which makes communication much more likely and clearer. And it says here, depending on the specific voodoo lineage, Friday the 13th could be a day that a family or members of a family would perform protective spells, cleansing rituals, and offerings to deities. While in Western culture, Friday the 13th is widely considered a very bad omen, with the belief stemming from the combination of the number 13 being seen as unlucky and Friday also having negative connotations in many traditions, often being linked to the day of Jesus's crucifixion. However, this is purely superstition and there's no factual basis to support it. Some theories actually link it to the Last Supper in the Bible, where Judas, the betrayer, was the 13th guest. Both the number 13 and Friday are considered unlucky in many cultures and religions, marking it a very particularly potent combination. Now, there is no scientific evidence that anything worse is more likely to occur or happen on Friday the 13th. So that may be chalked up solely to superstition. However, it is my own opinion, allegedly, that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is just obnoxiously obsessed with Taylor Swift and anything and everything she does, including her favorite number. Anybody that's planning on purchasing the book, please let me know down below in the comments section if you're going to purchase it, if you're going to read it, if you're going to get a signed or regular copy or the ebook copy, and if you plan on actually reviewing it, because I really want to know. And for anybody who picks up on any discrepancies or lies or inaccuracies in this book, are you going to be then asking for a refund and returning it? Knowing largely what we know now about her life and her story and why it's so complex is because she was, up until a certain point, a victim of her mother. But then up until that certain point, she was no longer a victim of her mother. And she was a full-grown adult who made the choices that she made. And for that, we don't buy this mainstream narrative anymore about her life. And the fact that this has all been a huge plan for nearly 10 years now for her to monetize and capitalize on this defense strategy and this victimhood so she can profit. She should have long been living this self-discovery her entirety of her 8 years in prison. That should have been what she was working on doing. It shouldn't take getting out and now Ben Bella Books and a literary agent and Melissa Moore and Lifetime and all these producers and cameras following her around, filming her, helping her ghostwrite, to all take their piece of her pie. For her to stand up and say, no, I'm done. I'm done letting you all profit off of my narrative and off of my life and off of my story. Because when we face the hard, cold truth, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is not of interest to any of us. Watching her show is like watching water boil, or watching somebody pick flowers off of wallpaper, or watching paint dry. It is largely unexciting and uninteresting. So these new little made-up tidbits that she's never told the public before have to keep being fed with every new docuseries, documentary, every new book, every new ebook, every new reality show, because without that, the people are going to say, well, wait a minute, didn't we hear that before already in 2016? Didn't we hear that already in 2017? Didn't we hear that already in 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022, 2024? Because I think we have. I think we've been here. Deja vu definitely rings a bell. So instead of facing this new fresh start that she's had for almost a year now, how about we see the results of that? Because they're not there to show. That's the entirety of the problem. And this is why I am already suspecting that this book is not going to land well with people. And they're already projecting it to be a New York bestseller based on pre-sales. But that's very subjective when a book is marketed and a publisher or a publishing house actually has the money and the resources to do exactly that. Market and advertise that book. They can make anything a New York bestseller. But they have been known to also inflate that to market and advertise better sales by making you think it's a better book than what it is. And I don't knock her for taking her own piece of her own pie while all these money-hungry producers like Melissa Moore and networks like Lifetime and mainstream media like TMZ and ABC and NBC and all of them are clamoring to get their piece of her pie. I don't blame her for making the money off of that. And it's really unfortunate, but until she truly tells the entirety of the truth and take 100% full accountability and start trying to rectify and make amends and atone for the wrongs that she's done to her other victim, Nicholas Godejohn, the autistic man that she manipulated for almost 3 years into being her co-conspirator. And he finally did, after 1,000 days, believed that this was the only way he can help the person he loved and was going to be with for the rest of his life. That this was the only way to help her. And because he's autistic, that's where the debate comes in.
Play. And I'm hoping that in a week from now, when I come back, that I don't have to press pause again, that I can make what I do here a part of my life, not my entire life. You know, when I first started making videos, this wasn't even about Gypsy. I didn't know Gypsy then. We weren't friends. This was about exposing someone's lies that I saw was causing people to invalidate Gypsy's abuse. And it wasn't just about Gypsy. It was about other victims and survivors. You know, when Gypsy was being released, I was like, you know, just her story being out there. Nothing else but simply her story is going to help other victims and survivors. It's going to put Monetizing by proxy on the map. And as rare as people might think it is, it's just rarely diagnosed. There are far more cases than we can probably even imagine, not just with children, not just with young adults, but a lot with elderly people. But then I suddenly saw that opportunity being ruined because people were treating Gypsy like she was supposed to come out of prison and be perfect. Absolutely perfect. I can't even imagine what my life would be like if I was never given the freedom to make mistakes. Most of us, I'm sure almost all of us, have been given that opportunity to make mistakes. In our teens, in our late teens, in our early 20s, maybe even still now. And we learn from them and we move on. But when it came to Gypsy, people were expecting her to be perfect. And it's so crazy to me because it's like, it's hard enough for prisoners to come out of prison and transition. So just imagine someone who lived an isolated life for 24 years and then went to prison and then now coming out into a world that may be large to us, but it's even larger to her because she never really lived in it. She lived in her mother's world inside of this world. And it's so crazy that people just expected her to just be perfect. You know, someone told me this the other day, and I agree. When they heard Gypsy say she wanted to advocate, they never expected her to walk out of prison and start advocating. They expected that to be years down the road. Because you have to transition first, and for some people it takes years. Just for prisoners. Just imagine someone, not just someone coming out of prison, but someone who lived in prison basically their entire life. And so, yeah, that's why I came on this app and I went hard. And I've been going hard for 10 months. And somewhere along the way, I've gotten a little lost and entangled in the hate and the chaos that's being spewed all around. And have I partaken in some of that? Yeah. When you get beat down for so long and you never retaliate, you finally do. And sometimes it might be harsh to some people. And I'm not making an excuse for what I've done. I'm actually not even apologizing for the things I've done because I don't care. But that's why I've gone so hard for Gypsy.
What she was thinking in the other room, listening to her mother screaming sometimes.
I didn't think anything. I was scared. I was shaking. I didn't have a thought in my brain. It was like it was all not real. I was on a bunch of medications, and I know that's no excuse, but on Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion, and I wasn't thinking right.
Beyond manipulation and retaliation.
Is she taking any sort of
You know, she's like, well, okay, it was me too, or is she trying to put it all on? She takes some responsibility, but not much.
I am Barbara Ann, and welcome to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I appreciate and love each and every one of you that take the time to be here, be with me, watch my videos, and interact with me. For those of you who don't know, that is Bree. That is a friend of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who she made an announcement to her followers saying that she was going to disconnect from social media for a week. And that she has been going hard and going to bat for Gypsy Rose Blanchard online for over 10 months. And that she realized, looking at stuff around her house, that she hasn't touched it or used it in over 10 months. And probably that she's been neglecting those areas in her life. So I full-heartedly agree with anybody that says, hey, I need to take a step back. I need this time. I need to disengage. I need to participate in my real life more than I'm participating in this little box here. And so I full-heartedly agree and respect anybody that does that. But I just want to talk about some of the things that she mentions in that. And you're going to notice some things in the background. She came on here solely with the intention of exposing someone's lies. Well, we know that that someone wasn't me, because up until 5 months ago, I completely was underneath their radar. I did my first video about Gypsy Rose's lies from this. She says under oath that Nick never R-worded her. This actually got banned and pulled down because I had to change the R word. All of that I went over in another video. But this was on November 27th, 2023, a whole month and a day before she was released from prison. I also, in this video, take a little clip from a trailer for the upcoming Prison Confessions, where she says that Dan was the first person she ever told that she could walk. She also says that Nick was the first person she ever told she could walk. So I've been noticing these discrepancies for over a year, and largely been asking myself, if this person will lie like this under the stand, are they really rehabilitated? Which is the whole point and principle of the prison system. So I don't know who she's referring to when she talks about exposing the lies, but that's largely what a lot of us have done here. And to no harm of just, we're posting the videos of her saying one thing, saying another, and allowing other people to conclude their own opinions, thoughts, and feelings on that, which is their civil and constitutional right to do so. Invalidating abuse of other survivors and victims. That's really funny, because I don't know what she would classify the whole Kate thing. And especially knowing that I'm a cancer survivor of stage 3 cervical cancer, knowing that I am physically disabled and I have a rare genetic connective tissue disorder, and that I also have fibromyalgia, and also knowing that I'm an abuser myself, I wonder why she would harm other survivors and victims at the expense of Gypsy. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, putting Munchausen by proxy on the map. Actually, no, that's not true. If you pay attention to my background throughout all of this, you're going to see that this person was making themselves the face of this, unbeknownst to other people who really have survived this type of ABUSE. The opportunity to be free to make mistakes as a young teen or a young adult. Well, Gypsy Rose was a month and a half away from her 24th birthday, I believe, when she unalived her mother. So, murder is not a mistake. That is a premeditated, life-altering event that you choose to embark on. And of course, you're going to take the consequences that go with that. And prison is one of those things. So it's not like we put her in prison. She put herself in prison. But that's not the same thing as cheating on a test, or breaking something that you borrowed and failing to replace it, or be honest about it. That people expected Gypsy Rose to be perfect. No, everybody knows that she's not perfect. I mean, she committed the act of unaliving her own mother and putting her autistic boyfriend in prison and throwing him under the bus for it all. So all of the things that you're seeing in my background here, that's all a part of her trying to tell us she's perfect when she's not. To sell us a narrative that she's reformed and rehabilitated and better than ever. People should be free to make mistakes and move on. No, when you make mistakes, you atone and you make amends for that. Then you're able to move on. Otherwise, you're not doing anything, just going around harming people, and you're acting the motions out, but you're not really learning from your mistakes. That's the biggest point in all of that. You should be free to make mistakes and move on. No, you should learn from your mistakes. That's what anybody on this planet should be doing with their mistakes. If and or educating others. prison transition is hard enough. Again, we didn't put her in prison. She put herself in prison. And, you know, the whole thing getting out in 8 years, I mean, she got the plea deal of the century with that one. Rehabilitation, reformation is the entire point and principle of prison punishment. She was in a prison and then her mom's prison and then out. And everybody expected her to be perfect. Again, pay attention to my background. Nobody asked for any of this. This was pushed on us. Now, we're not even going to get into the whole advocacy thing because this is her own statement with the advocacy stuff. And then she goes on to San Francisco State University to talk about how and why she's advocating. And that's where a lot of people had a problem because she didn't anticipate other survivors and victims, which is 92% of the entire global population of 8 billion people. Yeah. They're not going to be okay with advocating until somebody starts with the full truth and their real story. She was in prison basically her whole life. Well, I don't know. Her dad is equally to blame for that. Bree becomes lost and entangled in the hate. Yeah, I know. You've never even verified anything with me, came to me, talked to me at all, and look at what you helped people do to me. But you're not sorry for it. There's no excuse because she says verbatim, she is not sorry for what she's done and it's not an apology. But Bree says there's no excuse, but she's not sorry for what she has done. So why should anybody else be sorry for telling the truth and telling their own opinion on their own platform?
And like the people that come in here every single day and support what I'm doing and are right there with me, if there were more people like us, maybe we'd live in a little bit better world. And if there were more people... It was the first video I saw today, and I wasn't expecting my name to come out of your mouth, considering I don't even know you at all. In case you weren't aware, it's 2024, and in 2024, we don't make transphobic statements like calling someone a man when you know damn well that they're not. I am so heartbroken right now. Being friends with Gypsy Rose Blanchard has helped me to see the world in a way that I never would have otherwise. The empathy I have for people that are celebrities or in the public eye has grown tremendously. To the person who took this post off of our private Facebook and passed it around, fuck you. Sincerely. And I hope Gypsy finally figures out who this person is and gets them off of our page. None of you have talked to Gypsy personally,
and we don't want to.
About what is the truth matter. All the times Bree talks shit. Okay, am I going slow enough for you? Okay. So you chose to write this comment on a video that shows one example of me mocking someone who I sat back for probably 2 or 3 months, and this has been going on for about probably 7 months. Sat back and let her bully me, attack me, harass me. Her and Pink Cat's the one who started the whole trans joke that you and everyone else over there likes to go along with, you know, calling me bro and all that crap. Yeah, so she did that for months, okay? Along with many of other things before I ever did anything like that, okay? It's called retaliation. If there were more people like us, maybe we'd live in a little bit better world. Sweetheart, Nina, you don't get to talk about people making fun of you. Because that's all you do is make fun of people. Like, and not just me, like, not just Gypsy. Everybody that she goes after, she makes fun of them. But, like, 2024. And in 2024, we don't make transphobic statements like calling someone a man when you know damn well that they're not. Here you are talking about bullying, yet you start your video off by bullying me. You are a grown-ass woman, yet you are being so unoriginal and following in the footsteps of all these other bullies out there who continue to call me a man or a T-woman knowing that I'm not. It's transphobic and it's disgusting as... Because I would love... Something in here, is he willing to come up, though? Because I would love to explain to him what actually happened, and... Mostly because, honestly, I'm worried that his friendship will be ruined over it, because she does not care about anybody but herself. Like, I never had any... Like, I reached out to Ethan because I saw his message in Discord, Ethan, if you're in here, the reason I reached out to you is because I saw your I saw your comment in Discord when you said, I can't believe this is all over a text message. We're supposed to be on the same team here. That's the only reason. When I seen that, that made me, like, I would have never reached out to you, but when I seen that, I was like, that's exactly how I feel. So I have to reach out to him to tell him what happened.
I'm in here. Ethan is in here, Bree.
Because I wanted you to know, not because of Erin. Yes, Erin went along with it, but I don't believe that she came up with the idea. But Ethan, I have receipts to prove it. I think it's dumb. But this is the thing. She always had an issue with Beth because Beth called her crazy because of the whole, because of how she is with Fancy, okay? Like months ago. But Beth apologized to Rez, and Rez said everything was fine. And then that morning, well, Erin had offered, it was Aubrey's idea to build me a Discord, which is in the top picture. That's the Discord. Tell it was meant for me. And Erin offered to help. Okay, and her and Rez built it together. I went in it for 5 minutes all together, maybe. And that morning, I found this out in the live later, but all of a sudden they were like, Erin had posted this picture of a bot, and she was like, she said something about, and Erin actually did say, look, just don't do this again. But then here comes Rez, and she commented, like, why'd you ask me who the mole was? And just started, like, ambushing Beth. Basically, Beth was like, what are you talking? I never took any screenshots. And she was like, I swear. On her Discord, like, if you look into her phone, it even says she was not on during those hours. Like, she was sleeping. But aside from all that, when I go on the live later, she said, because she was like, y'all, there are reasons why I know. This is why I did this, why I set this up, even though I have researched high and low, and I have asked, people have talked to coders, and Discord specifically, because there's no AP, because of the API or something like that, you cannot set up bots like that. And regardless, I'll tell you why, even if it was possible, why it didn't matter. So when she came into the live, she said something about
I have no idea.
changing her picture. I know, but and
honestly, I don't know what happened
give them that.
Okay. The screenshots. I'm just like,
I feel like it was stupid. Because that's what it was there for. It was there for people to take screenshots. I mean, not screenshots, save it screenshots. I take screenshots all the time. It's just a habit. But aside from all, like, when we went into the live, she said that the reason she knew is because there was Starlight had changed her profile picture. But then that's when Crystal pointed out, no, that's Starlight's backup account. She's always had that picture. And she thought that she got it because Beth might have sent her a video with that picture in it. And she was like, oh, well, I didn't know that. And that's when she's like, well, she's still a liar. And she starts flipping out. And I'm like, okay, well, I found out 2 other people that was taking screenshots just for their own self, like for a video they wanted to make or whatever it may be. And because sometimes you might not hold it down. Sometimes you just take a screenshot. It's like out of habit. And supposedly Beth was the only person that took a screenshot, they said. And then when we wanted the proof of the other ones, they said the Discord was deleted. You can see this. That's what they changed the name to, is didn't see. And I'm telling you, like, I don't know Erin. I can't judge Erin, but what I do know is the things that I just found out. I don't know if you were in here when I put up the screenshots. Rez denied me for 7 months and said she was not a part of the whole trans thing with me, accusing me of being trans and saying that I wiped a TikTok out of being like a me as a trans person, and it hurt me so fucking bad when I just got them 20 minutes ago. And her literally 7 months, however long ago, talking about like this shit she was saying about me. And I'm just like, wow, you lied to me for 7 months. And she almost destroyed my entire community of people. And I do not want to see that happen, because right now she pulled Erin into this, and I'm telling you, and they're lying about it. They're lying because it was not in your Discord. Morgan and them never got any screenshots of my Discord, because this happened in my Discord. That I wasn't a mod in because I was in it for 5 minutes before this happened. And I'm not lying to you, Ethan. That's what happened. And I only messaged you because I saw you say that. And I resonated with that because that's how I felt. Like, why are we caring about this when we're supposed to be on the same team? And that's the reason I sent you that message, because it was important for me to share that with. Because I don't want to see your friendship ruined because of her. Because she's an opportunist and she uses people. Because she's private. She could be whatever she wants to be, and nobody's going to attack her. And yeah, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but like, I'm just glad that you came up in here, because this is like just really crazy. And I can't believe this is happening right now. Was what led me to want to take a break from TikTok for a week. That's actually really hilarious. Really dumb, but hilarious. No. Actually, Kristen, I wanted to thank you for posting that, because thanks to you, we do know who the rat is now, or the mole, the snake, whatever creature you would like to call her. Layla.
DD 2.0?
Yeah, we know. Start your video off by bullying me.
That is absolutely hilarious. Look at all of this. Doxing me, calling me, emailing me, threatening me, getting a lawyer from Bunny XO to Gypsy, Gypsy to you to Kate, to sue me and another creator, to get 2 of my videos taken down, emailing me, calling me, harassing me, selling my information on the dark web, doxing me, police report after police report after police report. Oh, the thing about police reports are, if anything happens in the future, they're admissible in a court of law. So is the police officer who took the police report. And that is evidence, in case there is ever a criminal or civil suit in the future. But the whole thing is, talking about bullying, I've never called you. I've never harassed you, emailed you, said anything about you, dug into your past, doxed you, put your information on the dark web, went around talking shit. I do my content and I get off. That's it. This here is hypocrisy at its finest. Literally at its finest. Coming from somebody who never shuts the fuck up or lets anybody else talk.
Epilepsy about this time as well, right?
Yes, sir.
And so they started giving you Tegretol, and it caused your teeth to crumble.
Yes, sir.
Did you know what was happening at the time?
No, I really didn't. I just didn't understand why my teeth were falling out. I had to have them extracted. I just knew I was losing teeth.
But you know now you didn't have epilepsy.
I know now.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard settles divorce with Ryan Anderson, but there's a catch. Yeah, the catch is that he got away from a convicted murderer. Run, Ryan, run! And never look back. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan Anderson have reportedly settled their divorce. The duo, who married in 2022 when Gypsy was still in prison for conspiring to kill her mother, have come to a resolution in their split, according to TMZ, because who else would Gypsy go to tell this to? Certainly not her favorite content creators. The agreement has yet to be approved by a judge. Jeffrey Carrier, Ryan's lawyer, shared with the website that the exes have already decided against spousal support. However, division of community property has yet to be worked out. Carrier explained that the duo moved forward with the uncontested divorce as they had been living separately for 6 months. The move sped up the divorce process, allowing them to officially split prior to their initial projected date of January 2025. Which we all know is when Gypsy Rose Blanchard is due to give birth. She announced her separation from Anderson, a special education teacher, on March 28th of 2024. After their split, she reconnected with her ex-fiancé, Ken Erker, and the couple are now expecting a daughter, their first child together. But we learned on camera, on Lifetime camera, that she had been cheating since February. Blanchard and Anderson's split occurred just 3 months after her release from Missouri's Chillicothe Correctional Center, where she had served 7 years for her involvement, over 7 years, so it was close to 8 actually, in the conspiracy to kill her mother, Dee Dee. Anderson and Blanchard obtained a marriage license in Chillicothe, Missouri in late June 2022, while she was still serving time in prison, as reported by Springfield News Leader. And then, less than a month later, she decided to tie the knot in a small prison ceremony without any guests. Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation, and I moved in with my parents, she shared on Facebook at the time. I have the support of my family and friends to help guide me through this. I am learning to listen to my heart. Right now, I need time to let myself find who I am. Soon after revealing her discovery process to find out who I am, she was spotted spending time with Urker, her ex-fiance. Then came the announcement that her and Ken were expecting their first baby together. And God willing, there won't be another. Blanchard rose to prominence when she was convicted of second-degree murder in Springfield, Missouri, for the death of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. Least not forget that she spent over 9 years clawing her way to infamy and working on this defense strategy. Her death came in the wake of what Blanchard describes as a lifelong physical, mental, and medical abuse, and ended up being sentenced to 10 years in prison after getting a sweetheart plea deal, they forgot to add. She was paroled at the end of December 2023 after serving 8 years behind bars. Wait, didn't this article just say 7? And you didn't even fact check or edit your own article before publishing? Given the sensational aspect of Blanchard's childhood, including her mother forcing her to pretend to be disabled and terminally ill, her mother forcing her to pretend. I thought she didn't know. She gained widespread media attention as a survivor of Munchausen by proxy, which her mother was not diagnosed with ever. And she's deceased, so you cannot diagnose that. You can't go back in time and say, well, because I know that's what this was. Gypsy is not a psychiatrist, and neither are all those other people around her to diagnose her mom, not ever having met or spoken to her. So that right there, this is so slanderous, libelous, and defamatory to even say. A survivor of Munchausen by proxy, a disorder where individuals make up or deliberately produce symptoms by inducing them with medicine of illness in someone they are looking after, usually a child, and usually for attention. Share or comment on this article. Gypsy Rose Blanchard settles divorce with Ryan Anderson. But I actually do a really great video entitled The Gypsy Rose Agenda. And that shows you for the last 9 years from the day she was arrested for her crime to already projected 2026, the projects that she's working on and how they curated this celebrity. This is not somebody who is famous for something proactive, positive, or good, which is the whole survivor narrative. And I show you this post that she put on her private Facebook because this is exactly about that. Melissa Moore, the producers, Lifetime, TMZ, the work that she has to do to film and the publicity and the engagements and the speeches and the appearances, all of that. The mask is on. Smile. I wonder if Ryan Anderson is going to be doing another live on TikTok, or if he's going to take some time and hide away from the public now that she has divorced him and committed adultery, got pregnant, is having a baby out of wedlock with the guy she was committing adultery with. It's just a whole hot, crazy mess, the whole story. But make no mistake, she was monetizing and capitalizing off of her own story. And the voices clash with the agenda. Don't forget, the mask is on. I think that's the closest she's ever going to get to actually admitting the blurred lines between what's real and what is not, as far as the narrative that she was this helpless little thing that was forced by her mom to do this or to do that. And that is a justification for taking a life. And people are so desensitized. Heinous crimes like that, and that is more concerning. But I would say almost as concerning as people still following and supporting somebody who not only made a victim of her mother, but made a victim of her boyfriend. But of course, that's not surprising for somebody who has done nothing but use, abuse, discard, and dispose of everybody in her sphere. And if you think you're going to be the one that's going to be exempt, honey, you better, because you're not. Nobody is exempt from the crimes and the wrath or the fury of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, except for those that she does not know about. Those are the only people that go unscathed. And if you look in the last year, as far as social media, we can recount how many people have actively and negatively been harmed by her friends, her team, her camp. And I know for a fact that I'm not in that category because I am not monetized here, and I did not build my platform off of anti-Gypsy people. Never have, never did. And as far as my YouTube goes, I never gained nor lost a single follower that has anything to do with her or Adaptive Kate. My following is solely based on being a disabled survivor of cancer and fibromyalgia and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and all of those other things that I started my platform on. And I'm grateful and lucky that I didn't create it based on her. And I don't make it based on her. And I'm not monetized based on her. But with that said, my heart does go out to Ryan Anderson. That must have been really hard for him to have to go through a divorce, having somebody not even be with you for 40 days before they're already cheating on you, to be suddenly abandoned and just up and left like that. The mental, emotional, and physical distresses that probably caused him was tremendous, and I have a lot of sympathy and compassion for that. Now, some may argue that it's his own doing. He shouldn't be talking to and messaging people that are in prison for killing their own mom. However, he seems like a genuinely okay dude and does not deserve that kind of treatment. But God willing, he will find somebody who actually does love him and is attracted to him physically, and he will spend the rest of his life happy. But it just won't be with Gypsy. Thank God for the small blessings, right? Leave your comments, and remember to be nice, kind, civil down below. Have a great night.
What you see behind me is the photo right here of a girl who supposedly has disabilities, along with her mother, and now next to it, what she looks like in her prison uniform without the glasses and getup.
Her mom had to have been making her fake her illness all her life. They did some tests and found out she had a chromosome disorder that was causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system. And
If she could walk, she knew she could walk.
So when she was with you this whole time, she hasn't had to have a wheelchair?
Nope. We also know that she can walk without assistance or a wheelchair, and she can do that very well.
Even though I knew I could walk,
You were able to run around.
pretty much, yes.
And would you forget to get it and run into the kitchen?
There would be times that I'd forget to grab it and then go to walk. And then my mom would catch me and be like, use your walker.
But you knew you could walk.
Yes, sir.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her boyfriend, Nicholas Godijon, are both charged with premeditated murder.
New revelations tonight about the couple arrested in Waukesha County for a brutal murder in Missouri. 12 News' Colleen Henry investigates Gypsy Rose Blanchard's secret Facebook persona, one she worked to keep from the mother she is now accused of killing. Aaliyah Woodmansey grew up with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She's dumbstruck by this week's revelations that the sickly girl she thought was wheelchair-bound is now accused of orchestrating her mother's murder.
I thought I knew these people so well, and come to find out, I have no idea who they are. They are walking, and it's kind of painful because I really thought I was really close to them.
Wisconsin versus Gypsy Blanchard. Prosecutors charged Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas Godijon of Waukesha County with killing Dee Dee, then posting profane comments about the murder on Facebook. Woodmansey says she and Gypsy secretly communicated on Facebook.
Her mom was very set on Gypsy having the mentality of a 7-year-old and didn't appreciate me talking to Gypsy like someone my age.
Detectives are now investigating if Dee Dee faked her daughter's illness for money. The family got medical airlifts, Disney travel, and free housing over the years because of Gypsy's supposed disabilities. Woodmansey says Gypsy feared her mother would find out she wanted a different life. She used the secret scream name, Emma Rose, and confided her plan to marry Godejohn, whom she'd met on a Christian singles site 2 years ago. Quote, "He's my soulmate."
Those things were okay for the fairy tales and movies and things like that, but not for Gypsy. Gypsy was her pristine, innocent doll, and she wanted nothing to tarnish that.
Now on Facebook, Gypsy Blanchard wrote that she planned to introduce Godejohn to her mom back in March. It appears that never happened. Now the couple are under court orders to have no contact. Blanchard has an extradition hearing tomorrow morning. Godejohn will be in court in 2 weeks.
When you commit a first-degree murder, you knowingly cause the death of another person after deliberation. Analysis of cell phones provided evidence of numerous text messages between Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas.
It's relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table.
Tragic event surrounded by mystery and public deception.
It's relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table.
How do you kill your own mother? I mean, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be some abuse there. You don't just...
Does there?
I'm going to kill my mother because I want to be with a boyfriend.
She's a beast. Yeah. She's a beast. She's a beast.
She is potentially dangerous.
Don't turn your back, she might stab you.
The Blanchard scammed many different charities and lied to many different charities across the U.S., including churches and support groups.
Mystery ending in Waukesha County.
It started with the violent murder of a mother in Missouri. Police say they tracked her daughter, who has a disability, and a person of interest here to Big Bend. 12 News' Colleen Henry is live at the Waukesha County Jail, where both are now being questioned.
Attorney Waukesha County took them into custody this morning. They're here at the jail now. 12 News has learned that this pair met online. Friends called police yesterday when they spotted this post on the Facebook page Dee Dee Blanchard shared with her 19-year-old daughter, Gypsy Rose. It read, "That expletive is dead." Investigators say they found the mother violently murdered inside their home and Gypsy gone. This morning, the sheriff announced they'd tracked the social media post to Wisconsin.
We have located Gypsy in another state. She is okay. We do have another person of interest in custody.
Friends worried for Gypsy Blanchard, who they say suffers from muscular dystrophy and is wheelchair-bound. Police found her at Charlie Goldhammer's home in Big Bend.
As I know, the SWAT team came this morning, took my wife and I out of here. Something with my stepson. Supposedly, he did something in Missouri, which we don't believe because he went here fine.
Goldhammer's stepson is 25. He says Gypsy Rose was fine and wasn't in a wheelchair.
There's nothing wrong with her.
So she's okay.
Yeah, she walks and talks and does everything fine. I don't really know anything about her except that he's and her were talking to each other online. It's his girlfriend, and he went down there to get her and brought her back up here. That's about all I know.
Now, there are many unanswered questions here tonight. Did the daughter know of her mom's murder? Did she come to Wisconsin willingly? Missouri police are on their way here to interview both of them, and we expect more answers when they're done. In Waukesha County.
So the story behind a couple arrested in Big Bend, this week after authorities say they murdered a woman in Missouri. The story is growing increasingly bizarre.
It turns out Gypsy Blanchard and her mother were in the news before.
Asked him to stab her mother to death so that they could be together.
As the charges against her are detailed, you can hear her sobs.
Stole money from her deceased mother's safe and fled the state of Missouri.
And when she does speak in Waukesha County Court, she sounds like a child.
2103 West Volunteer Way.
But Gypsy Blanchard is an adult. Although authorities aren't sure exactly how old she is, it's likely somewhere between 19 and 23.
I remember my mom had gave me this little glass house, and she said, one day this will be real. And now it finally is.
That's Gypsy 7 years ago, clutching her mother Dee Dee's hand, the woman she's now accused of asking her boyfriend, Nicholas Godijan, to stab to death.
It's so easy to live here, and it's so peaceful.
The two were interviewed after Habitat for Humanity built them a handicapped accessible home because of Gypsy's disabilities. They said she was confined to a wheelchair.
We have an awesome bathtub. It's a jacuzzi tub meant for my muscles. And we have a wonderful ramp.
And I want to start off with saying things are not always as they appear.
Authorities say the two were lying. You can see Gypsy for yourself walking into court. Now, along with the investigation into Dee Dee's murder, authorities are also looking into what appears to be a financial scheme.
This is a tragic event surrounded by mystery and public deception.
Alleging Gypsy and her mother lied about Gypsy's health to get money and attention.
It just proves that happy endings are not just in fairy tales. They're real and true in real life also.
According to court documents, both Gypsy and her boyfriend say he stabbed Dee Dee after Gypsy asked him to. Investigators say he then mailed the knife to his Wisconsin home so he would not get caught.
Don't tell me that they're all mad because anybody comes with the receipts. Well, the receipts were given to everybody by none other than Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself. The Gypsy Rose Blanchard agenda. Welcome to the Gypsy Rose Show, everybody. Circa 2015. The agenda. The self-proclaimed Linktree advocate, public figure, celebrity, creator, and influencer. But thank you, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, for giving us the receipts on all of your lies and documenting it for almost 10 years now. You're so wonderful for doing it for everybody. Since we all know that your best friend is not going to be out here educating.
Us in the book is healing, which I think is absolutely wonderful to look through that lens. You've gone through so much at such a young age that people can't even imagine. Essentially, your identity was formed for you almost against your will, and in a lot of ways, it was false. Going through betrayal, trauma, and prison. Can you tell us how you're overcoming a lot of that through this healing process?
Finding myself has been a journey. I felt like while I was in prison, I was trying on different identities, trying to find myself. But it wasn't until I actually got released and able to learn by experience, because that's how people learn. And that's how they learn about themselves. So by doing that and having those freedoms to go out and experience these things, I'm able to see how I react and discover more things about myself. So I'm not going to say that it's a I found myself. It's a journey.
Absolutely. I love that. In that, relating that to your abuser, to your mother, so often abused individuals have a really complex relationship with feelings towards their abuser. Can you tell us more about that experience growing up? And of course, now with your mother no longer being here, what has that been like for you walking through that healing process?
At first, the relationship with my mother and I was a good relationship when I was younger. And she's all I grew up knowing. And so in a sense, she was my best friend. And then in my later teen years, that's whenever I started to rebel and want more independence and freedom. And so that's whenever our relationship became like love and hate. And so it became more volatile. And after her passing and her death, it became where I missed her, but also I had a relief that I was no longer under her control. So a lot of people feel a sense of connection to their abuser because they are under the belief they have been abused to the point that their belief system is that nobody else will love them. And so if you try to escape or if you leave that abusive situation, nobody else in the world will want them or love them. And unfortunately, that's the toxic pull to an abuser and a victim.
Right. And for so many, that's truly not the case. And of course, what you've been able to experience post prison and post walking through all this is you have an amazing community around you.
I do.
Going into that, I guess what would you say to someone that was in your shoes in your previous chapters of your life and your shoes now?
I think that nobody can know the mind of a victim unless you have been in a victim's shoes. So I would say to them, even though it's extremely scary to talk to somebody about the abuse, whether that be like a shame that's holding them back from it, or a fear that their situation will get worse if the abuser finds out. But the most important thing you could do is lean on somebody, lean on a family member, lean on a friend, or even a stranger. Take that risk of a stranger thinking you're crazy, but at least you're saying, I need help. I need out of this situation. And, for me, I did not make that choice. And that is something I have to live with every single day of my life. So it is extremely important to use your voice, even if you're afraid to.
How can mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, anyone that's in a child or a person's life that's walking through that, how can we be better advocates for the next child? And hopefully there is no next child in this situation.
I mean, if the child is able to, or if the person's able to verbalize, really have a conversation. It doesn't have to be a complex one. Something as simple as, I think mommy's not right, or I think something's wrong with mommy or daddy, or anything like this. That needs to be taken seriously. There are ways to communicate to a child that you don't have to scare them, but on their level, listen to them, hear what they have to say. And as an adult, you should be the one to take up and protect that child. So go to DFS, go to a social worker, go to the police if you feel that strongly. But that is your responsibility as the adult.
I want to continue to welcome folks into our live signing with Gypsy Rose Blanchard for her new book, My Time to Stand. You can get it now at standsignedbook.com. That's standsignedbook.com. And please use the code STAND15. I love that we landed on that moniker because it is your time to stand, and I believe that folks have to stand up. I'm sure so many people want to know, you served your time, you're walking into your next chapter. What does the future hold for you?
Well, I feel like I lived a lot of life in these last 10 months since I've been released. And I am expecting a child, so I am going to be giving birth to my daughter in January. And so starting a family, just really getting on my feet. It's funny that it's titled that because it has so many meanings, because it also hits home not only when I was released from prison, but also now as well, that I'm starting to kind of find my footing in life. So I think prioritizing family right now is the most important thing that I'm doing right now.
Right. And congratulations from all of us here at Premiere. We're so excited for you. That's such an amazing opportunity. And we're so happy for you. We're gonna move into our one of our fan favorite segments. It's our 10 questions in 60 seconds. So buckle up. You ready? Yeah. This is fun. All right. So first one, where were you born?
I was born in Retracing, Louisiana.
What is your favorite color?
Pink.
What is the one thing that you have in your fridge at all times?
Soda.
Soda, awesome. Who was the most interesting person that you've met recently?
Oh goodness, I don't know.
No, good. What is your biggest pet peeve?
When someone comes over to your house and they're talking on their phone and they're not paying attention to you.
Yes, okay. What is your favorite hobby?
Crocheting.
What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
90 Day Fiance.
What is your guilty pleasure junk food?
Chips.
Awesome. What is the last band that you listened to or streamed?
One Republic.
And where do you want to go that you've never been?
Ireland.
Awesome. You did great. You did so good. That's awesome. Again, folks, I want to express just how thankful we are that we had this time with Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, I apologize. Make sure you get the book at standsignedbook.com, and please use the promo code STAND15. Gypsy, we covered a lot of topics over this. There's so much more in this book. Again, we started reading it here, and it's so incredible what you've been able to walk through and how you're able to lead people that are in current situations. If there is one big takeaway, again, that you wanted people to leave with this book, what would that be?
This book is a message of hope. I have personally been through a lot, and I know that there will be times that people will want to give up. And so I just really want to bring this message that no matter what you have been through, whether it be sexual, emotional, physical abuse, it doesn't matter. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a happiness, and it's just about getting there. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey to get there. So that's the point of this book.
Amazing. That's amazing. And you've been through an incredible journey, and we're all so excited about your next chapters in life. So hopefully there will be another one, because I know you've got so much to tell and bring people your story. So all right, Gypsy, again, thank you so much. Folks, thank you again for joining us. Make sure you get your book at standsignedbook.com and use the promo code STAND15. That's it for now with live signing. Take care.
Just a couple of pictures, that's good.
I don't know if everybody noticed what I noticed right away, and that was the TMZ cameras are clearly by the front door of the courthouse waiting to get pictures of Gypsy. But the moment that Gypsy and Christy Blanchard come around that corner, Christy Blanchard is just deadlocked, her eyesight on those TMZ cameras. And it's almost like she's trying her hardest, her damnedest, to pretend that they're not there. But of course, she knows they're there, because they're there with the sole purpose of getting a good picture of Gypsy to run an article about her. And she knows that because this is a part of the publicity game in her being released from prison and doing her reality show, and her second reality show that has not even come out yet. They're not even done filming yet. For her divorce, for her books. This is a part of that game. And Gypsy, this is precisely what she means when all these people have an agenda and they want a piece of the pie. That's who she's talking about. The people that she has to play this game with. Well, that's a part of spending 9.5 years making and curating this story to then sell for a price. That is the trade-off. And when you enter into contracts with Lifetime or Ben Bella Books, TMZ and other news outlets are going to expect you to allow them to photograph you. That's just a part of the PR. The most noticeable thing to me is the fact that they know that they are there because they're the ones who called them before they even come around the corner, and then trying to pretend like they don't want them there, that they don't want her picture taken. You're telling me that TMZ sent cameramen out to the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Louisiana, just in hopes on a rainy day that they might come across Gypsy Rose Blanchard, a convicted murderer, so they can possibly, maybe just get one good, decent photo of her to put on their website? I'm sorry, but you don't have to have a 147 certified IQ to know and to understand exactly what is going on here in this video. See this? That is Christy Blanchard deadlocked on them TMZ cameras because she wants to scope it out and see exactly where they're at. How else do you know how to stage a photo if you don't know where the cameras are? There's a pillar in the way and she's still staring at him. And I'm not one to body shame or talk about anybody's body. I've given birth to 5 children. I've raised 7. I have had custody of twins through Child Protective Services and foster care. But it almost looks to me like Christy's the one carrying the baby, not Gypsy. Or maybe it's just the type of sweater she's always wearing. I don't know. I don't ever body shame or talk about anybody's body, but I would almost think that Christy is pregnant. Not that it's beyond the realm of possibility that she's the surrogate. Hey, I don't know. Just saying. But she's still staring right at TMZ camera. She even opens the door and is still deadlocked on the TMZ camera. I don't know about you, but I think Christy Blanchard went into that courthouse, delivered that baby, and came back out with a flatter stomach. Unless she did a number 2 in a bathroom somewhere. Girl, I need your trick. I mean, for real now, what's the trick here, mama? How'd you lose 2 whole pant sizes and go down 2 dress sizes in a matter of 30 minutes? I don't know what they're playing at, but they're playing at something. Because that was her walking in. That was literally her walking in. Walking in. And that is her coming out. What? What? How is that even possible unless you're bloated or you took a number 2? I don't know. Magic. But you know, them Cajun people down there from the bayou, they love to play with black magic and voodoo and all that other weird stuff. Not that us Yankees would know anything about that. One more time. Camera 1. Camera 2. Camera 1. Camera 2. Okay, here's some exclusive photos for you. But of course, TMZ, their entire job is to get decent enough photos to put on their website. And preferably, those photos are in 4 or 5K HD. So that way they look good on the website. But they end up with these. There she is, looking right at the TMZ cameras. You know, my favorite part was Christy Blanchard acting like she was about to manhandle somebody or catch a case. Like she legit was physically acting like she was about to physically assault. Knowing damn good and well she's the one who called TMZ. Hey, Rod. I tell you what, her dad seems like a good guy. He honestly deserves... Not even going to say it. Knowing good, damn, and well, these cameras are there to get the best shots possible. While she even brings the Lifetime cameraman with her to film going into court. Right? This is absolutely crazy that they're acting like they don't want to be photographed by TMZ or anybody else. Oh, probably because they don't want the word getting out, right? Yeah, knowing you caught them there. Everybody knows that's how TMZ works. And trying to play, oh, I'm a celebrity. I gotta cover up so you can't see me. Miss Black coat lady's over here squeezing her butt cheeks like she got a prairie dog popping out. The Lifetime cameraman's just like, dude, I'm just here for the gig. Like, I gotta get my pay because I got bills. I got mouths to feed. Like, hey, dude from TMZ, what's up? Let's play hopscotch. Christy Blanchard style. Like, got a stick in the butt. Got a stick in my butt. Gotta block the gypsy. Gotta block the gypsy. Because clearly there's no real threat to her. She's looking at the TMZ camera guy like, catch ya, I'm out. Gotta play nice with that one, because you know what she does to her mamas in their sleep.
Just want a couple of pictures. Get just a couple of pictures. That's good.
Gypsy. Fuck off, man. Fuck off, man. Fuck off, man.
Just want a couple of pictures. Get just a couple of pictures. That's good.
He just needs a couple good pictures, dude. Just give him a few good pictures. Oh, come on, guys. Just give her a minute. Fuck off, man. Like, this is some huge pain and suffering for her knowing what she did to Ryan Anderson. Like, this is such a devastating moment for her. Could you be any more sociopathic and narcissistic in nature? And this is the best you could give TMZ? Really? Gypsy Rose, y'all. This is her. Calling TMZ and making herself the infamous killer she is. What do you think? Drop your comments.
7:40 is the time now. Welcome back. You've undoubtedly heard her name and know a little bit about her story. A victim of child abuse at the hands of her mother and later convicted of killing her. Today, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's memoir is hitting store shelves. So for you to get your hands on that, you can do that today. And this morning, she's joining us right here in our studio to tell us a little bit about it. First off, thanks for joining us this morning. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you in. You know, your story is a controversial one that a lot of people think, at least, that they know the story and your life story. A lot of people could have got out of prison and just stayed in the shadows. You chose to be very vocal on social media with this book. Why a book? Why share your story?
Well, the book is something that I always wanted to happen, and it was something that even my mother's side of the family definitely encouraged and approved of. I know they weren't very supportive of a lot of the documentaries and everything, but they always felt support for me and support for me sharing my story in a book. So I think that that was important to honor their wishes, my wishes, share my voice in a proper way.
That's pretty empowering to have, you know, the her side of the family then encourage you to have your voice in the book. I guess because you could make sure the words are that of your own.
Exactly.
And I know the title is one that has, you know, some meaning for you as well. And, you know, let's talk a little bit about that. My Time to Stand. What does that mean for you?
I really wanted the word stand in the title. I was very strong on that because standing up for yourself, standing on your own 2 feet, all of that has multiple meanings. So like independence, freedom, physically standing. So it's more than just physically standing. It's emotional and it's empowering. So I really wanted the word stand to be in the title.
And with that, you know, obviously people have the opportunity to get the book today. It hits their shelves. It's very exciting. And, you know, getting into that, I know you talked a little bit about in learning to stand for yourself, you made some mistakes. One of those that you severely regret. Do you go into that in the book when that decision was made when you were trying to stand for yourself?
I do. It's not a big portion in the book because I really just didn't want to focus or over-dramatize that. So I just kind of wanted to tell the story, the events that unfolded, and kind of get into my mindset so readers can understand where I was at mentally and emotionally at that point to come to that decision.
Do you think the book gave you a chance to give a side of your story that maybe people don't know?
Absolutely. The thing I love about the book is it doesn't tell just my story. It also goes into a little bit more of my mom's story and how she got to be how she was.
In the book, do you Do you share at all your feelings now when you are able to look back at this point in your life about how you feel maybe about her decision making? You know, what sort of thoughts do you put in the book that people might be interested to learn?
I absolutely do. I dive deep and get very vulnerable, to the point that you get to see on page my emotions ranging from rage to acceptance to vulnerability. Like, you get a range of my emotions when it comes to my mother and my past.
And then, you know, when we're talking about this too, obviously the book, that is a big deal, but then you have some other big news in your life. Just want to say congratulations on your pregnancy.
Thank
Due in
you.
January.
Due in January,
so you're
yes.
right around the corner.
I know, I'm getting there.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm excited. I'm really happy. This is a really special time for us, and so we're enjoying nesting, and we're getting ready, so we're happy about it.
And so you did share, it's a girl.
It's a girl,
You
yes.
shared her name?
Yes, it's going to be Aurora Reina Euchre.
Beautiful. You know, you're talking about this book and how vulnerable you get and stepping into this, well, very punny, but new chapter of your life.
Right.
When you're looking back now, being a mother, and that can change us in so many ways, how does it feel that you don't have your own mother, and then just the life that you've led? How do you feel about becoming a new mom at this stage?
I'm excited about becoming a new mother. I know that there is a lot of eyes on me that are kind of like, how are you going to be different than your mom?
Right.
And I'm already making vastly different choices than my mother made, even in my pregnancy. So I'm going into it confident. I have a great support system with me, so it's not like I'm alone. I have a wonderful stepmom. Her name is Christy, and she is definitely my guiding light to motherhood.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm glad. You should be confident. I think every mom stepping into that stage, I was really nervous to myself, but you know, all you can try to do is be the best version of yourself for your little one. And it seems like with this book and doing a lot of, you know, deep diving and being vulnerable, it's not easy, but I think it's setting a great example.
Thank you.
And, you know, just moving forward, there is an opportunity with this book signing today for people to get out and meet you. I know you wanted to talk a bit about that.
Yes, so I will be at a meet and greet, so people can come take selfies with me and get a copy of my book at the Garden District Garden District bookstore, and so it's going to be good. It's going to be great. I look forward to it.
That's
so
awesome.
I get to meet everybody.
Yeah, and they can get the book, then get it signed
by
by you.
Signed, everything. So it's going to be amazing.
Awesome. We love that. Well, thank you for taking the time to come in and be with us and just share more of your story. I know this isn't easy to do, but we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations again on your pregnancy. And she, as she mentioned, will be at the Garden District Book Shop Friday for a meet and greet. So if you'd like to get out there, grab the book and also meet her. It begins at 5 o'clock, and early bird tickets are on sale right now for you to grab. We have a link to where you can purchase them on WLTV.com. Just under the links tab, and that's also where this story will live if you'd like to go back and watch it as well.
Good morning, everyone. Gypsy Rose Blanchard here. So my book, My Time to Stand, is officially available wherever books are sold. I'm super excited about this, and you can find links in my bio.
Beautiful. And then kind of close your eyes like you were before. Incredible. That's so sweet. And then can look down, just look down a little bit. Beautiful. I don't know about the rest of the world, but if this doesn't show you just how rotten and despicable Gypsy Rose Blanchard is, I don't know if there's any helping you. Gypsy Rose Blanchard says she didn't enjoy sex with ex Ryan Scott Anderson, despite once saying that the D is fire. Gypsy Rose Blanchard isn't holding back when it comes to her tumultuous love life. The famed victim, supposed self-proclaimed victim of undiagnosed Munchausen by proxy 33, whose gripping new memoir, My Time to Stand, will be released today, December 10th, has finalized her divorce from her ex, Ryan Scott Anderson, and is currently happily with boyfriend Ken Urker. In an exclusive interview with People this week, she opens up about their sex life and what went on behind closed doors that helped encourage her decision to call it quits. I still struggled when I first came out of prison, Blanchard says, of her sex life, after being released from Missouri's Chillicothe Correctional Facility, where she served 8 years of a 10-year sentence for her part in the murder of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. No, it wasn't her part. She's the one that planned and solicited somebody else. She's the one that's guilty of premeditated first degree. There wasn't just a part. It happened because of her, solely because of her. And underneath the Missouri statute, go look it up. Anybody over the age of 18 who knowingly causes the death of another person. But the fact that she does all of this to him and then still finds a way to turn her all around and make it all about her, while jabbing him and hitting below the belt. At the time, Blanchard took to social media to share how pleased she was with Anderson, a Louisiana special education teacher who she'd wed behind bars in 2022 after she and Erker ended their previous engagement, which was over 4 years prior. That's not even relevant at this time. She and Anderson consummated their marriage shortly after her release. Don't listen to the haters, she commented on one of Anderson's Instagram posts in January, defending him against an onslaught of negative comments he was receiving. Besides, they jealous because you are rocking my world every night, she added. Yeah, I said it. The D is fire. Now, Blanchard shares that she's a liar from those previous statements. What she says now and what really happened, Ryan and my sex life was not ideal. I told him privately. Maybe it was a lack of attraction in that area, or if I still wasn't processing properly. In her new memoir, Blanchard opens up about the horrifying SA she says she suffered as a child, as well as, she claims, with ex Nicholas Godejohn. That's bullshit, Gypsy, and you know it. Who's currently serving a life sentence for her mother's murder, but has never been charged in connection with the alleged SA. She also describes instances of experimenting with her sexuality in prison, although she says she was never able to fully enjoy the experiences. According to Blanchard, all of that has changed after reconnecting with Erker. When Ken came into the picture again, you've got to understand there was 7 years of built-up tension there, and it was amazing, she says, of their first sexual encounter. I was able to feel comfortable with him. Though past sexual trauma still haunts her at times, mostly I've gotten past that. There are times that it's kind of like, if I'm uncomfortable, I will voice that. But I'm very open and vocal with Ken about my needs. That's how you know something didn't happen, because if you are one of the many women, men, or children that ever is going to suffer SA in their life, you know, you never just get past that. It's a bliss, she says, has led to her greatest gift. That's how we conceived our baby girl, she says proudly of expecting little Aurora early next year. I had a great first 2 trimesters, amazing, no morning sickness. It was so peaceful, she says. But now that I'm in my 3rd trimester and the 8th month, I can't sleep, I can't breathe, I can't do anything. Still, she's at peace. With her parole ending next year, I'm really excited to just obviously bring her into the world and have a lot of family time together. I'm transitioning to a more private life, but it's going to be a slow transition. But you said you were leaving social media. That means permanently delete. Bye. Oh, but she wants to be on social media when she has to do her contractual legal agreements, like promoting. People also ran this. Gypsy Rose Blanchard X. Glad saga is over and he won't trade insults. Conducted himself like a gentleman. A lawyer for Ryan Anderson shares an exclusive statement with People amid the finalization of his divorce from Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her recent comments to People. Ryan Scott Anderson says he's relieved to be moving on. Congratulations to you, Ryan, and good for you. A lawyer for the Louisiana school teacher who was married to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, like that's not an accomplishment, dude. for 4 months before she filed for divorce in April 2024, tells people in an exclusive statement that Anderson, 38, is happy to be closing this chapter after finalizing the divorce. Ryan Anderson was aware that the divorce was taking place today. Attorney Randy J. Fierst said in a statement, he's always conducted himself as a gentleman and a good husband. He did not seek this divorce, but is now glad that this saga in his life is over, and he looks forward to a healthy new beginning. In an exclusive interview this week, ahead of the release of her highly anticipated memoir, My Time to Stand, Blanchard, 33, shared details of her marriage to Anderson and private issues that arose. Ryan and my sex life was not ideal, I told him privately. Maybe it was a lack of attraction in the area, or if I still wasn't processing properly, she says. Another issue for Blanchard was an intense argument they had. He got in her face and screamed. Friend Nadia Vizier, 23, said exclusively in April to People magazine. Gypsy said that she was afraid he was going to hit her. He didn't, but that happened in the past with her mother. So her first instinct was to tighten up and be prepared. But she got to safety and called her lawyer too. Ryan is a big guy, and she told me it was really scary. Anderson has denied such behavior, previously telling people that he was blindsided by how fast events took place. I've done a lot of reflection, and I look back at that argument. We were going through a lot. We just got into an argument, and that was it. It turned out that was the last time Gypsy was really here. I've only seen her one time after that, he added. Blanchard, who's now expecting her first child with former fiance Ken Erker, tells people that though she's realized early on she was just settling in her marriage, she's reached out to Anderson to make amends. I did extend the offer to have a civil conversation for closure purposes, she says. I'm currently awaiting a response. He waived his right to attend the court date. You know that's bullshit because he messaged you and you blocked him. Of Erker, Anderson previously told people in May, honestly, I feel like he was going to pop up at some point. He was going to rear his head in some way. And at some point, we'd have to deal with this. It just happened so fast, Erker said of their relationship at the time. I'm still processing things. He continued, she's in her freedom phase. That's what she wants to do. I do not know that Gypsy Rose does have love for me and vice versa. Being selfish and chasing your heart should never come at the cost and expense of other people. There's a proper way to handle things and do things, and how she did them is exactly how her mother and her father, Dee Dee and Rod, brought her into the world. No different. In fact, her situation is worse because now she's a convicted murderer who's on parole, who attempted to take a life twice before, bringing a child into the world. The only reason why she's even having this baby with Ken is because he denied her and left her and was with somebody else for over 5 years. She psychologically is obsessed with him and is going to trap him, and it's going to come back to bite her in the ass. But worst of all, it's going to have a negative, lifelong effect on that baby. God willing, not the kind of effect she claims and lies to everybody about that her mother had on her. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share.